Ever feel like you're running a race against a clock you can't see, but you can always hear it ticking? That constant, nagging feeling in the back of your mind that you're falling behind, that you're running out of time? You're not alone. This feeling has a name, a story, a deep psychological root that goes back thousands of years. Today, we're going to talk about that feeling, where it comes from, and most importantly, how to break free from its grip. Let's start with an ancient story. In Greek mythology, there's a powerful titan named Chronos. You might know him as the personification of time, but he's not just a friendly old father time figure. The myth of Chronos is dark. He was so terrified of a prophecy that his own children would overthrow him. He did something unthinkable. He devoured them, one by one, as soon as they were born. This isn't just a grim old tale. It's a powerful psychological symbol for how we experience time today. Chronos represents chronological, linear time, the relentless, forward-marching sequence of seconds, minutes, and years that seems to consume our lives, our youth, and our opportunities. This is the source of that inner pressure, the sense that time is an adversary we must constantly fight against, a monster that will swallow us whole if we don't keep running. This brings us to a crucial distinction, the difference between external time and our own inner time. External time is the social clock. It's the timeline society hands us, filled with expected milestones. Graduate by 22, start a career, get married by 30, buy a house, have kids, hit a certain income level by 40. It's a one-size-fits-all roadmap that rarely fits anyone perfectly. Then there's your inner time. This is your personal, subjective experience of life. It's your own rhythm of growth, healing, and discovery. It's the time you need to figure out who you are, what you love, and what truly matters to you. The problem is, we are constantly measuring our unique, winding inner journey against society's rigid, straight external timeline. And when they don't match up, we feel like we're failing. But who wrote that rulebook? And why do we treat it as law? This constant comparison creates a deep-seated fear of wasting our lives. Where does this fear come from? A huge part of it is social comparison, amplified 1,000 times over by social media. We scroll through curated highlight reels of other people's successes, the promotions, the exotic vacations, the picture-perfect families, and we feel our own lives are dull and insignificant by comparison. We're comparing our behind-the-scenes struggles to their public victories. Then there are the cultural expectations passed down through generations. Our parents and grandparents might have had a very different definition of a good life, and we often internalize those expectations without even realizing it. Finally, there's the pressure we put on ourselves. We become our own harshest critics, setting impossible standards and feeling like a failure when we don't meet them. We tell ourselves, I should be further along by now. But says who? This pressure to achieve casts a dark shadow, the shadow of productivity. In our culture, being busy is a status symbol. Hustle culture tells us that every waking moment should be optimized, monetized, and leveraged for future gain. We're taught to feel guilty for resting, for having a hobby that doesn't lead to a side business, or for simply being present without a goal. This is when striving for achievement turns toxic. It becomes a compulsion, an addiction to doing. We're no longer driven by passion or purpose, but by a fear of stopping. The result is a chronic feeling of inadequacy. No matter how much we accomplish, it's never enough. The goalpost is always moving, and we're left feeling exhausted, burnt out, and empty, trapped on a hamster wheel of our own making. In analytical psychology, particularly in the work of Carl Jung and his followers, this devouring aspect of time is seen as an archetype. Think of it as a fundamental pattern in the human psyche. The devouring time archetype isn't just a metaphor, it's a psychic force. When this energy is unconscious, it runs our lives from the shadows. It's the force that makes us feel frantic, anxious, and perpetually behind. The goal isn't to defeat this force. You can't defeat time. The goal is to make it conscious. It's about turning to face the monster, understanding what it represents within you, and integrating its energy in a healthy way. It's about learning to respect time's power without letting it consume you. This means acknowledging our own mortality, our limits, and finding meaning not in a race against time, but in the quality of the moments we live. This unconscious battle with time manifests in very real, modern existential crises. We have a name for them now, the quarter-life crisis, where people in their 20s and early 30s feel lost, anxious, and disillusioned about their career and life path. Then comes the midlife crisis, the classic stereotype of someone in their 40s or 50s suddenly questioning all their life choices. And now, we see this sense of being behind starting even earlier. Teenagers feel pressure to build a personal brand. College students feel they need to have their entire career mapped out. At every stage, we are haunted by the ghost of a more successful, more accomplished version of ourselves that we think we should be. We're constantly looking over our shoulder, not at a competitor, but at an idealized version of our own life path. To cope with this profound anxiety about the future and our own mortality, we develop a powerful defense mechanism, the illusion of total control. We create 5-year plans, 10-year plans, vision boards, and intricate to-do lists. We try to schedule and optimize every minute, believing that if we just plan perfectly enough, we can outsmart uncertainty and guarantee a happy outcome. Now, planning isn't inherently bad, but when it becomes excessive, it's a symptom of fear. It's a way to avoid the uncomfortable truth that life is unpredictable and that we are not, in fact, in control of everything. We spend so much energy trying to build a perfect, risk-free future that we forget that the only place we can ever truly live is right here, in the messy, imperfect, unpredictable present. So how do we find peace? It starts with reconciliation. It's about making peace with time instead of treating it as an enemy. This involves accepting the natural cycles of life. Just like in nature, our lives have seasons. There are seasons for planting and intense growth, and there are seasons for rest, for lying fallow, for quiet contemplation. You can't be in a perpetual state of spring and summer. Psychological maturation isn't a straight line upwards, it's a spiral. We often revisit old themes and challenges with new wisdom. And a huge part of this reconciliation is redefining what success means to you. Is it about the external markers, the job title, the bank account? Or is it about inner qualities like kindness, wisdom, resilience, and the richness of your relationships? This leads to one of the greatest dangers of living in a state of time anxiety. We live only for future goals. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I get the promotion, or I'll relax once I finish this project, or life will begin after I buy the house. We defer our happiness to a future that may never arrive as we imagine it. And even if we do achieve those goals, the feeling of satisfaction is often fleeting. Why? Because we haven't practiced being happy along the way. We've become so good at striving that we've forgotten how to simply be. We reach the top of the mountain, and instead of enjoying the view, we just feel an emptiness and immediately start looking for the next, taller mountain to climb. This is the ultimate tragedy, to achieve everything you thought you wanted, only to realize you missed your own life in the process. It's time to reframe our relationship with time. What if time isn't an adversary, but a potential ally? What if it's the very medium through which growth and meaning are created? Think of personal growth like growing a tree. It happens at its own pace. You can't yell at a sapling to grow faster. It needs the right conditions, sun, water, soil, and it needs time. Your own growth works the same way. It follows its own unique rhythm. Comparing your journey to someone else's is like a pine tree feeling inadequate because it isn't a rose bush. It's a distortion of reality. Your path is your path. The detours, the pauses, the moments you felt lost, they are all part of your unique story. They are not wasted time. They are part of the process of becoming who you are meant to be. So, how do we put this into practice? How do we actively reduce time anxiety and cultivate a more meaningful life? First, practice mindfulness. This isn't just a buzzword. It means consciously bringing your attention to the present moment, without judgment. Feel the warmth of your coffee cup. Notice the color of the sky. Listen, really listen, to the person you're talking to. The present is the only place you have any power. Second, schedule unproductive time. Intentionally block out time in your calendar for things with no goal other than joy or rest. A walk in the park, reading a novel, listening to music, doing absolutely nothing. This trains your brain to accept that your value is not tied to your output. Third, conduct a meaning audit. Ask yourself, what activities, people, and experiences truly make me feel alive? Make a conscious effort to prioritize those things, even in small ways. And finally, practice self-compassion. When you hear that inner critic telling you you're behind, treat it not as a fact, but as a symptom of fear. Gently tell yourself, I am where I need to be. I am on my own path, and I am learning as I go. The journey to reconcile with time isn't about giving up on your ambitions. It's about changing the energy behind them. It's the difference between running in a state of panicked fear and walking with a sense of purpose and presence. It's about building a life that doesn't just look good on the outside, but feels good on the inside. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this resonated, please consider liking and subscribing for more conversations like this. Take care.